Darood cherished listeners, I'm Sindokt, and welcome to another powerful episode of Echoes of Persia. Our epic journey began with the first crown, from Kayumars to Jamshid. And in our last episode, Brothers Divided, the Tragedy of Three Kingdoms, we witnessed the heartbreaking betrayal of gentle Iraj by his brothers. In our last episode, we witnessed how Fereydun's dream of harmony crumbled as jealousy consumed Sarman Tur. The noble Iraj, seeking peace, offered his throne to his brothers, but his sacrifice ended in betrayal and tragedy. With Iraj's death, the seeds of vengeance were sown. If you're ready to witness how justice rises from the ashes of betrayal, please subscribe to our channel and join us for this tale of redemption and retribution. Dawn touched the palace spires with gold as Fereydun, aged but joyful, oversaw the preparations for his youngest son's return.
Place the turquoise throne here, where the morning light catches its jewels. The prince should see his father's palace shining like paradise itself.
I remember when Prince Iraj first sat upon that throne. Even as a child, he had such gentle eyes. Quick now, scatter more rose petals.
Tune the instruments to the happiest moods. Today, we play songs of reunion, of joy returned home.
Bring me the royal jewels. Each gem in his crown must be perfect. Each pearl must shine like a star. My youngest returns with peace in his hands.
Never had we seen our aged king so alive. Years seemed to fall from him like autumn leaves as he prepared to welcome his son.
Even the war elephants wear festival colors today. See how we've painted their trunks with saffron, draped their backs with silk. Beyond the palace walls, the capital itself bloomed with anticipation. The prince returns. They say he went to his brothers bearing peace. Now 3 brothers will rule as one, just as the great king intended. In every temple, the sacred fires burn bright. We've added sandalwood and rare spices to honor the prince's return.
A rider approaches, but something is wrong. He rides as one bearing ill news.
One rider where hundreds were expected. One shadow where light should reign. One messenger of darkness approaching, while joy turns to growing pain. The messenger, his face grey with grief and dust, carried a burden that would shatter an empire. A golden casket wrapped in royal silk.
Great King, Lord of Iran, I bring...
Look how his hands shake upon the golden casket. What horror does silk and gold conceal?
As they lifted the perfumed silk, time itself seemed to hold its breath. There lay Iraj's head, still beautiful in death, crowned now with tragedy instead of gold. The face still fair as morning light, though death had claimed its mortal right. The lips that spoke of peace now still, while heaven's heart broke at such ill. Fereydun, who had ruled Iran for centuries, who had bound demons and conquered evil, fell from his horse like autumn leaves before winter's first storm.
My son, my gentle son.
The king falls, and with him falls all joy, all hope, all future.
Around him, as if reflecting their king's collapse, his mighty army tore their clothes, blackened their faces, overturned their drums of celebration. See how glory transforms to grief. The elephants that wore festival colors, now draped in black, their painted faces washed with indigo tears. The horses that would have pranced now walk with lowered heads.
We who would have formed his honor guard now become his funeral march. No prince rides in triumph. Instead, a father walks in dust.
They carried their bitter burden to Iraj's beloved garden, where each flower, each tree, held memories of the gentle prince.
Let nothing of joy survive. This garden bloomed for him. Let it die with him. Burn the throne where he should have sat in glory. Uproot the trees that would have shaded his wisdom.
The cypresses he planted as a child, the roses he loved, all feed the flames of grief.
O Creator, you who set the stars in motion, look upon this deed. My gentle son, who spoke only of peace, lies murdered by brothers' hands. Let their hearts burn as mine burns. Let their days be darkness. Let their nights be terror. Grant me life enough to see vengeance spring from this innocent blood.
Like ripples in a dark pool, grief spread through the empire. In every city, every village, every home, the people took up the rhythm of mourning. Even the birds sing funeral songs. The wolves in the mountains howl laments. All nature weeps for the gentle prince. In every temple we keep vigil. The sacred fires burn low, as if they too weep tears of flame. And so Iran entered its time of mourning. The king made earth his bed and dust his pillow, while his bitter tears watered the seeds of vengeance yet to come. Sometime after Iraj's murder, as grief still echoed through the palace halls, Fereydun discovered something extraordinary in his son's private chambers.
What's this? Among my son's handmaidens, Afarid, whom he cherished above others.
My lord, the princess carries Iraj's child beneath her heart.
The gods haven't abandoned us entirely. A spark of Iraj still lives.
When the time came, Afarid bore a daughter. beautiful as moonlight on still waters. Look, from crown to toe, she is Iraj reborn in feminine form. The same gentle eyes, the same noble brow. Like the moon emerging from storm clouds dark, a princess appears, bearing heaven's mark. In her face, her father's glory shines, as fate its broken thread rewinds. She-princess grew in beauty and wisdom until she reached marriageable age. Fereydun carefully chose Pashang as her husband, and from this union came the answer to his prayers, a son named Manoochehr.
Great king! Come see your great-grandson. The gods have blessed us with a male heir.
The stars dance at his birth. This child bears destiny's mark.
O Creator, you have answered my prayers. My Iraj lives again in this child's face.
Watch how the old king's tears fall now. Not in grief, but in joy. Hope blooms again in winter's garden. Fereydun raised Manoochehr with extraordinary care. No wind was allowed to touch him too roughly, no foot to touch bare earth. The prince learns faster than we can teach. His arrows fly true, his sword moves like lightning, and his mind is as sharp as his blade. He absorbs wisdom like desert sand drinks rain. When Manoochehr reached manhood, Fereydun saw in him everything a king should be.
Behold, to you I give the golden throne, the heavy mace, the turquoise crown of leadership.
7-colored silk tents they gave him, leopard skin pavilions, Arab horses with golden bridles, Indian swords in golden sheaths. Great warriors gathered to his banner, Karen of the Bull's Head Standard, Shahnameh, and many others.
We who remember Iraj's murder stand ready, our swords thirst for vengeance.
My grandfather's tears shall be answered with justice. My father's blood calls out from the earth.
When news reached Salm and Tor that a new star had risen in Iran's sky, terror gripped their hearts like winter's first frost.
My lord, they say Fereydun's court blazes with new light. A prince sits beside him, bearing Iraj's face.
Brother, our stars descend as his rises. The blood we spilled has grown a garden.
All we built teeters on the edge of an abyss. Iraj's ghost rises to haunt us through his grandson's eyes.
In chambers cleared of all but their most trusted advisers, the brothers wove their web of deceit.
We must send sweetened words to mask bitter intentions. Let our tongues speak of peace, while our hands grasp sword hilts.
Consider well who carries such a message. You need one whose honey tongue can mask poison's taste.
From their vast courts, they sought the perfect messenger, one whose wit matched his wisdom, whose words could dance like silk in wind.
My lords, I understand. Speak remorse, hint at redemption, offer submission.
From the eastern vaults, golden crowns set with rubies. From the western treasuries, silk woven with starlight. The caravan that set out bore wealth enough to founder a dozen ships, elephants groaning under golden loads, chests of musk and ambergris, silks that captured sunlight.
Each step brings us closer to the lion's den, yet these gifts seem pale against the blood price they must pay.
When the messenger reached Iran's heart, he beheld a sight that would haunt his dreams forever. Behold, the throne of turquoise where sits Fereydun the Just. Beside him, Manoochehr, hope of Iran, vengeance incarnate. The hall stretched like heaven's vault, pillars soaring until they kissed the clouds. At one side stood chained lions, at the other battle elephants, and there sat a youth whose very presence made his heart tremble. Around the throne stood Iran's mightiest. Karen of the ox-head banner, Shahnameh the lion heart, each a mountain of strength, each thirsting for vengeance.
O King of Kings, your erring sons, consumed by regret, send words of deepest remorse. They beg to embrace their nephew, to wash away old sins with new love.
How dare you speak of love with lips stained by treachery? Do you think to hide the sun with your palm? Tell your masters this: Manoochehr comes not with embraces, but with steel, not with kisses, but with arrows. The blood they spilled has grown a warrior, and vengeance rides beside him.
The messenger fled Iran's court like autumn leaves before winter's wind, bearing not just rejection, but prophecy.
My lords, I saw an army that makes the ground tremble. I saw warriors whose very breath kindles fire, and I saw in the young prince's eyes, I saw Iraj reborn, but with a sword in hand.
Brother, we must strike now, before this lion cub grows his teeth, before our father's training makes him invincible.
Let all China march. Let the West rise in arms. We'll drown this spark before it becomes a flame.
And so, while words of peace still echoed in Iran's halls, the drums of war began their deadly rhythm in east and west. The brothers who had murdered once prepared to kill again, not knowing that fate had sharpened its blade for them. When word reached Fereydun that enemy armies approached Iran's borders, the aged king turned to his grandson with words of both wisdom and war. As our ancestors say, when a young warrior shows promise, he draws both sheep and leopard to his trap, the prey before, the predator behind. For 8 days, Manoochehr led his forces onto the open plains. Before his departure, Fereydun offered final counsel.
Great king, who would dare raise arms against your throne?
Listen well, my son. Wisdom and patience can trap even the desert lion.
Under Karen, the warrior's command, the army poured forth like a steel river. The royal pavilion rose on the plain, the victorious banner catching the wind. The army moved in waves, group after group, until mountains and plains boiled with their numbers. The bright day darkened with their dust, until the sun turned the color of lapis lazuli. For 2 miles, the war elephants stand in double ranks, 60 golden thrones on their backs, each studded with precious gems. 300 supply trains for provisions, 300 more carrying weapons, every warrior encased in iron, only their eyes visible beneath their armor. Karen the Avenger led 300,000 armored warriors, each bearing a heavy mace, each sworn to avenge Iraj. "See how they form!" Garshasp commands the left wing, Sam and Kobad the right, and there in the center, Manoochehr himself shines like the moon among stars. An army adorned like a bride for war, with lion-hearted warriors and drums mighty roar. The Kaviani banner leads their advance, while purple swords in sunlight dance. When news reached Sam and Tor that the Iranian army approached, they sent forth their scout with mocking words.
Tell this fatherless new king, who gave you sword and armor, you who spring from a woman's line?
Yes, I'll deliver your message, but when wisdom settles in your heart, you'll fear your own rash words. From the Narwan forest to China, our warriors of vengeance await.
Only a fool would speak such words. By the power of the Lord of both worlds, who knows Iraj was my ancestor and Fereydun himself bears witness. Before this battle ends, I'll show him my severed head even as his eyes still blink.
As bright day yielded to shadow, scouts spread across the battlefield like stars appearing in the evening sky. At the army's head stood two mighty figures, Karin the warrior and the cypress-tall king of Yemen.
Warriors of Iran, champions of the king, listen well to battle's truth. Tomorrow we fight no ordinary battle. This is a war against Ahriman himself. Every drop of blood spilled, every wound given comes from that ancient pain, that unquenched thirst for vengeance. Keep your waists belted tight, keep your hearts wakeful, stand beneath the Creator's protection.
Then came words that would echo through centuries of Persian warfare.
Know this, whoever falls on tomorrow's field rises clean of all sin, worthy of paradise. Those who spill the blood of China's or Rome's warriors will live forever in glory, blessed with priestly radiance. From the king you'll win crown and throne, from your commander, gold, from destiny itself, fortune's favor.
See how he kindles their hearts. Tomorrow's battle is fought first in tonight's souls.
When bright day reveals itself, when the sun climbs 2 measures high, bind your heroic waists. Take up your maces and Kabul daggers. Hold your positions. Let no man step before his fellow. Unity is our shield, discipline our sword.
The army's champions, its mighty commanders, formed ranks before their lion-hearted leader.
We are your servants. We live only for the king. Command us and we'll turn the earth into a new Jihon river with enemy blood.
After making their vows, they returned to their tents, each heart tuned to tomorrow's bloody song. The night settled over the camp like a dark promise, as thousands of warriors prepared for glory or death. When dawn's fingers first touched night's darkness, bending the black sky toward retreat, Manoochehr rose from his central position, his Roman helmet and armor gleaming with deadly promise. The entire army raised their battle cry as one voice, their spears reaching toward heaven itself, their faces set with determination, eyebrows knotted with warrior's fury. Like an artist painting death's canvas, Manoochehr arranged his forces, left, right, center, and wings, until the earth itself resembled a great ship floating on a sea of blood about to capsize. The war drums thundered from atop mighty elephants, making the earth tremble like the waters of the Nile. Before the elephant corps, drummers created a symphony of destruction, while trumpets wailed nature's final warning. The armies moved like mountains walking, battle cries rising from both sides. The plain transformed into a sea of blood, as if earth itself had bloomed crimson flowers. Through the carnage strode the war elephants, their legs like columns of ruby wading through streams of red, while above all, Manoochehr's star shone brightest, for the world's heart beat in time with his courage. Until dark night drew its curtain across the sky, hiding the bright sun from view. For fate maintains no constant rhythm, sometimes offering honey, sometimes poison. As darkness fell, Salm and Tor's hearts began to boil with new schemes. Their thoughts turned to night raids, seeking advantage in the shadow's embrace. Yet, when the next day dawned, no enemy appeared for battle. The two armies held their positions, each contemplating their next move in this deadly game. And so, dear listeners, we've witnessed how the wheel of fate turns full circle. From the devastating moment when Fereydun received his son's perfumed head, to the miraculous discovery of Iraj's unborn child, to the rise of Manoochehr as Iran's hope for justice. We've seen how an army of vengeance forms around this young prince, each warrior sworn to answer innocent blood with righteous steel. The story shows us that though evil may claim temporary victory, the seeds of justice often grow in unexpected places. From Fereydun's bitter tears springs a new champion, carrying not just Iraj's face, but the destiny of an entire nation. Join us in our next episode as we witness the climactic battle between Manoochehr and his uncles. Will justice finally be served? Can the blood of Iraj find peace at last? The drums of war are beating, and destiny awaits. If this tale of hope rising from tragedy has moved you, please support our journey through Persian mythology by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Until next time, this is Sindoct, reminding you that even in our darkest moments, destiny may be planting seeds of hope